Hello Sumeti, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be learning how to make this beautiful bubu with shoulder darts and a bit on the inside. So to get started, I'm using 4 yards of the Duchess fabric. I have already folded it into 4. It was difficult to fold, okay? So I already cut out a very long part of it, 5 inches wide away before folding the fabric, okay, so that the band can go around it. That's why I first of all cut this part out, and I went ahead to iron hairstay on it. So you can see that it is folded into 2 already. After folding it into 2 equal parts, I now folded it again, like iron it very well. I kept it aside. So the fabric itself is already folded into 4. I'm going to show us how I folded it with this black fabric. It was difficult to fold, so that's why I had to do that off camera. I first of all folded it into 2 like this long. Then I now went ahead to fold it into 2 like this. Can you see? So that's how I achieved the into 4 folding of the fabric. So let's get started. I went ahead to mark my client's shoulder measurement and the shoulder width. Then this shoulder width is 4 inches. Then I determined the sleeve length. At first I thought I wanted to use 10 inches, so I marked 10 inches from the shoulder measurement because she's on the small size. So from the 10 inches I came down with 12 inches for the sleeve opening. Okay, I came down with 12 inches. I'm going to extend it to the center so I can rule a straight line, because that is serving as a bust line, even though we don't need the bust line measurement. So from the shoulder now, I'm measuring 14 inches down, 40 inches downwards. Then I'm going to roll a straight line. So the 40 inches I'm coming down is going to rest below her nail, okay, for the structure that we're creating. So after rolling a straight line on the 40 inches, the next thing I will go ahead to do now, I now went ahead to square the sleeve up so that I don't make any mistake. Like, it should be equal from the shoulder to the lower part of the sleeve. I first of all square it up. So like I said, the 10 inches I measured for her sleeve was too small for me, so I'm going to extend it later. So now I'm dividing her hip measurement by 4. So whatsoever I get now, I'm going to place it on the new measurement. Then I will add extra 4 inches to it as ease allowance. You know, it's a boo-boo, it doesn't have to be fitted. So this is me extending the sleeve. I'm just like exhausting the width of the fabric. Okay, so let's say I have like 14 inches length for the sleeve. Okay, so you can see me extending the sleeve. After doing that, now the measurement I had on the new length, now I'm going to connect from there to the sleeve. So now, you know, when you're curving this part, make sure you curve it very well, because that's the beauty of this dress. If you did not make your curve very well, like you don't make it round enough, it's not going to come out as beautiful as it is on my dummy. Okay, so after now we've gotten the sleeve part, we've gotten the new length measurement, we're going to get the full length of the dress. So you can see me arranging my fabric properly so that I can measure the full length of the dress. Now, one thing I do when I'm making bobos is that if the full length is 50 inches, trust me, I'm going to measure like 57 to add extra inches, because I don't know why somehow it doesn't add up if I use the exact measurements. Okay, and you know, bobo is not fine if it's short. So I went ahead to measure the full length and I added extra to it also. You can see the first line I chalked and the second line I'm chalking now. I also went ahead to add like extra 1.5 of an inch again to it to be on the safer side. So after that, whatsoever measurement I have on the new line, it is same measurement I'm going to use for the lower part of the dress. Now, when I'm talking about the nail line, I'm not talking about the upper nail, it's the lower nail. That's where it is. So I measure from 40 inches from the shoulder to get the nail line. Take note. So after marking all these parts, I went ahead to cut it. So after cutting it off, the next thing you want to do now is to go ahead and iron it. So I'm going to iron it because I need the gator. I'm going to spread it to do the shoulder line marking. So I'll iron it properly and come back. So here I've gone ahead to iron it flat. You can see how neatly done it is. So I will spread it on my table so we can create the front neckline and the back neckline. Okay, I'm going to tag it along so you don't make mistake. So I'm using 4 inches as the shoulder width. Now this is the front side and this is the back. On the back neckline, I came down by 1.5 of an inch. That's because it's carrying a collar and you don't want it choking you, right? So I came down by 1.5 of an inch. Then on the front collar, I came down with about 8 inches for the front depth. If you take it lower than that, it's going to expose your boobs. That's because I've done it before for a client and it was too low. So please don't go beyond 8 inches. So after that, I'm going to square it up with my straight ruler. I marked 2 inches inward to square it up with my straight ruler. So the 2 inches I marked inward now at the center front, I'm going to extend it to the full length of the dress. I'm marking the 2 inches straight to the lower part of the dress because you know we are going to be passing the band or the collar through it, and this is the space the collar will be fixed on. Okay, so you can see me using the ruler measured 2 inches. That's what I'm not marking. Okay, so after rolling it all the way down, we are now going to cut that 2 inches. We're going to cut it away, but before that, let's create the shoulder dart because you know it's dushes, and after cutting the 2 inches away, it is not going to be stable for you to mark your shoulder dart. So please take note of the front and back. The gaiter we ironed at first is serving as a guide for us. Okay, so at the center of the dress, okay, I will go in by her shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. I will come in by her shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. And I went ahead to mark another 6 inches, which is the width of the dart. I came down by 10 inches for the front length of the dart. And I came in by 6 inches again for the width of the dart. Okay, so now I'm rolling it across. Can you see what we've done? So these two lines you're seeing now is 6 inches wide, and that is the width of the dart by the time I put it together. So I'm repeating the same measurement for the other side. From the center front, come in by her shoulder. If your client shoulder measurement is 8 inches, measure 8 inches from the center front. From there, measure 6 inches for the shoulder width. Extend it. Now for the front shoulder, that length is 10 inches. Take note of that. Then for the back now, the shoulder dart length is 15 inches. So you come down by 15 inches, okay? Then you go ahead and extend, you know, her shoulder measurement is 7 inches. You mark it, roll it across to the one you created for the front pattern. So you make sure that you're marking it to get an accurate and a very straight shoulder dart. So you can see me marking the 6 inches on this side also. So you mark the 6 inches, you roll it across. So what we've done here like this, I will repeat it to the other side. From the center back, go in by 7 inches, which is a shoulder measurement, come down by 15 inches mark. Then you go in by 6 inches for the shoulder width. You can see that I've marked it. Then I'm going to go in by 6 inches. 6 inches, go in by 6 inches. So it is this 6 inches that we've marked now that will pick up as the dart, okay? So can you see? When you put it together now, this is the 6 inches we've marked, and that's what is giving you the shoulder dart. So after marking that part, you know, that's the right side of the fabric I'm placing my markings on, because you know the shoulder dart on the right side. So I'm going to flip the fabric back to the wrong side so we can cut the neckline and the front cutting too, where the band will be resting on. So I'm going to fold the fabric properly off camera. So here I've gone ahead to fold it back. So now we have to cut. Now you have to watch how I am cutting it so that you don't make any mistake. If you're still watching and you're confused about anything, you can ask question. So I will just go ahead and cut it all out. Okay, don't make any mistake. So you can see me notching the part where the neckline, front line opening will stop for the neckline. You see me notching it. Make sure you notch your own, because as we progress you will see why it is important for you to notch it. So after that, the next thing, now I'm going to spread it all open. Then we are going to sew the shoulder dart. So now this is what we've done, the markings we've created. Pick it up, make sure the both lines are meeting. Don't exceed the line, don't take lesser than or more than, okay, so that it is not bigger than what you want. Okay, I think 6 inches is perfect, it gives you the right size. But if you want yours wider, you can use 8 inches for the shoulder dart. So you can see me pinning it. You pin it closely, you don't rush it, so that the lines, the chalk markings you made on the fabric will align on each other. You can see how I'm guiding it with my hands as I'm picking it. So I'm going to pin it from the front pattern that you can see my hand now straight to the back pattern. I will be pinning it closely. So by the time you measure it now, it will give you 3 inches wide. Okay, so you can see me pinning it. You don't rush it, take your time and pin it so that you can get a very neat work done. So whatsoever we've done for this other side of the shoulder, that's now like the pinning we're doing, we are going to repeat it on the other side also. If you're still watching and you're a returning subscriber, I want to say a very big thank you to you. There is no Come Fashion on YouTube without you. I really appreciate your support. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more detailed videos like this. Okay, like, comment and share, and drop a review for me. Thank you. So you can see that I've gone ahead to pin the other side, so I'll go straight to the machine and sew it. Okay, so after sewing it, this is what we have. I'm just going to give it a very good press so we can continue. So now the next thing, after pressing the shoulder, that is to attach the band. You can make the band as long as you want, but the width of the band is also 5 inches wide. So I'm just going to fold it into two and run it, iron it, and come back. So here I've gone ahead to run the band and I am back. So how do you place the band? This is another important part of this dress also. So I'm going to arrange it very well. I will arrange the dress very well. Then from the shoulder line, you can see that our gaiter that we iron at the beginning is still showing on the shoulder line, so you have to take note of that. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to mark 15 inches downwards. So when I mark 15 inches downwards like this, that is where the band will be resting on. The 15 inches is a half length. If you make it too low, it will not be fine. Okay, so that's a half length. I came down by 15 inches, but you're not just going to place it at 15 inches. You have to use her waist measurement. So you mark also. I'm going to explain better when we are working on the other side. You can see me measuring it. So from the center, we have extra 2 inches of the band coming in, so I minus it from it. Let's say how a quarter of our waist measurement is 8 inches. Now you minus that 2 inches, you mark 6 inches inwards, then you mark it. Then that 6 inches you mark inwards on the 15 inches from the shoulder. That's where the band will rest on. So on the other side, I'm coming down by 15 inches. I am marking her waist width measurement minus 2, and I'll place the band there. Why am I minus it 2? The band or the cape, the band or the collar we're attaching to it is 2 inches wide. Okay, I hope you're not confused. So I'll go ahead and sew it down and come back. So at this point, I've gone ahead to attach the band to it, and this is what we have. Don't forget that we're attaching the band to the wrong side. Okay, and now this is the collar with me. Like I said, I've gone ahead to iron hasty on it. It is 5 inches wide, so that by the time I use half inch to join after folding it, after folding 5 inches it will give you 2.5. So I'm just going to, that part we notched as the front neckline, I will measure from the center back now to that part that we notch. whatsoever measurement it gives to me now, I'm going to spread this collar now. I'm going to spread it. Can you see what we have? I'm going to spread it open from the midpoint. So you know I folded the gown into two to measure to that neck depth for the front. So I'm going to fold this one into two and I will measure it. Whatever measurement it gives me on that place, that's what I will mark here. So it is from this point I'm placing my marking on. I'm going to sew straight down. You know there is slit in front of the gown. So how did I get my slit? I went up by 15 inches from the lower part of the dress. I just calculated it, okay? So I went up by 15 inches. This band you see with me is way longer than the dress because it is the full 4 years that I bought. I cut this long band you see from. So I'm just going to sew a straight line like so. So after sewing it, you can see the both markings I did is where I sew on. So I'm going to pick it. I'm going to separate it so that the band is properly formed. Okay, can you see what I did? So I'm going to do it again so you don't get confused. You pick this side and you pick the other side also. You flip it and make it flat. So I'm just going to go ahead to the ironing table and give it a good press so that it can relax, because you see that we're flipping it after sewing it. So I have to give it a good press. So I will do that off camera and come back. So after ironing it, this is the dress on the table and this is the collar neatly ironed. That's the midpoint of the collar. The midpoint of the collar is going to come to the midpoint of the gown at the back area. Then I'm going to first of all run one side down with half an inch, okay, half inch. Don't use more than half inch. I will sew it all the way down with half inch and come back. So I've sewn one part of it, okay, and I flip it to the wrong side because I felt it to be easier. So on this other side, I'm going to also attach it straight down. So after attaching it straight down, this is what we have. You can see how neatly done it is already. So I'm going to cut the excesses away from the lower part of the dress. Like I said earlier, the collar is way longer than the dress itself. So I'm going to cut the excesses away and make sure that the lower part is equal. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload more videos. So we're going to work on the sleeve now. So you fold the sleeve into two. Fold the dress into two. You know the gaiter we iron on the shoulder is still there and is still serving as a guide. So from there, you know I said the sleeve width was about 12 inches. So measure 12 inches downwards and you mark. Give it a notch. So after notching it now, spread it open back. You can see how I notch it in. Then you're not going to, from the both ends of the notch, fold it in 2 times. So, and sew it. So we've closed the both ends of the dress, that's the sleeve. So now after closing the sleeve area, you're not going to put the dress together. Go ahead to your machine and join it together side by side, and also hem the lower part like we hem the sleeve area, same way you hem the lower part. So after doing that, this is what we have. You can see the lower part neatly hem. So I'm going to go ahead to the weaving machine and weave it, okay? And this brings us to the end of the video. If you find this video helpful, give me a thumbs up, drop a review for me. I need your honest review. It will help me do better, okay? Thank you very much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.